Welcome to the deep dive. You know those questions that just seem to linger? The ones that pop up in the shower or while you're stuck in traffic?
Oh, yeah, those little mysteries that just won't let go.
Exactly. Well, today we're tackling a classic,
Sure.
a real head scratcher. Ready for it. Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
The age-old
I
question.
know, right? It seems simple, but trust me, this deep dive's going to get pretty wild.
It really touches on some fundamental concepts like where do things even begin? It's not just biology, it's philosophy too.
Absolutely. And speaking of beginnings, we've got some research here that's gone straight to the source. We're talking interviews with a chicken and an egg.
You're not kidding. The study is called Avian Causality and Oological Origins, and they actually managed to interview a hen and her egg.
I'm already intrigued. So what did these participants have to say for themselves? Did they settle the debate once and for all?
Well, not exactly, but their perspectives were fascinating. The hen, who they named Cluckworth,
Cluckworth, I love it.
was very passionate about her role in the whole chicken-egg cycle. She really emphasized the hen's evolutionary complexity, the instinct to care for the eggs, all of that.
Yeah, makes sense. A mother hen is pretty devoted to her eggs.
Oh, absolutely. And Cluckworth really drove that point home. She even said at one point, and I quote, "Without me, there is no egg. Who would warm it, protect it, or scramble its yolk into an omelet?"
Okay, so Cluckworth is team chicken all the way. Strong emotional appeal there. What about the egg? What was its side of the story?
The egg was surprisingly eloquent, very logical, very philosophical. It argued that the egg represents potential, like the very beginning of the chicken's existence.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was deep. There's this one quote that really stood out. "I am the vessel of potential, the alpha of your omega. Your feathers mean nothing without my shell."
Whoa, okay, the egg came to play. So we've got Cluckworth representing the heart of the matter, the nurturing side, and the egg, bringing this deep philosophical perspective.
It's incredible, right? This study really highlights how this question, the seemingly simple question, forces us to confront some really big ideas about where things begin, about cause and effect. It's like, are we looking at this from a biological standpoint, or are we taking this more philosophical approach?
It's mind-boggling. And speaking of mind-boggling, this deep dive doesn't end with just interviews. We're about to get into some quantum physics.
Yeah, the researchers actually tried to recreate the chicken-egg origin using a technique called quantum temporal reversion testing, or QTRT for short.
Quantum temporal what now?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
my brain is already starting to hurt.
I'll try to keep it simple. Basically, they built a particle accelerator to try to simulate the conditions that might have existed at the very beginning of the chicken-egg timeline.
So they were trying to create a chicken or an egg from scratch, like out of pure energy.
Pretty much. They wanted to observe the very first chicken or egg popping into existence, to finally answer the question once and for all.
That's ambitious. So did it work? Did they witness the birth of the first chicken or the first egg?
Well, their initial attempts didn't quite go as planned. They ended up with what they called the quantum omelet.
A quantum omelet. That sounds less like a scientific breakthrough and more like a bad breakfast.
It basically was a chaotic mess of particles. Not exactly the clear answer they were hoping for.
So a scrambled mess instead of a clear answer. Seems fitting for this debate, doesn't it?
Right.
But they didn't give up, right?
Oh, scientists never give up that easily. And on their 7th attempt, something incredible happened. An egg appeared, very briefly, before collapsing into a full-grown chicken.
Hold on, so the egg came first. At least in this quantum experiment. Does that mean we finally have an answer?
It's not quite that straightforward. The fact that the egg appeared, even for a moment, before the chicken, suggests a very complex relationship between the two. And it leads to a theory they call the poultry singularity.
Poultry singularity. Okay, things are officially getting weird.
Imagine a loop where the chicken lays an egg and that egg somehow travels back in time to become the very chicken that laid it.
Time-traveling eggs. I did not see that coming.
It's a mind-bending concept, I know, but it's one possible explanation for this chicken-egg conundrum. Maybe, just maybe, they both emerged simultaneously in some kind of quantum event.
Whoa. So we've gone from talking chickens and eggs to quantum physics to the possibility of time travel. My head is spinning.
And we're just getting started. This study also included a public survey where people read the interview transcripts we talked about and had to choose team chicken or team egg.
Okay, I gotta know. Who won the popular vote? Was it Cluckworth with her motherly charm or the egg with its philosophical arguments?
Well, the results might surprise you. The egg actually came out on top with 62% of the vote.
Wow, Team Egg is more popular than I expected. Why do you think that is? What was it about the egg's argument that resonated with so many people?
I think it has to do with the egg's logic. It's a simple, elegant argument. You can't have a chicken without an egg, right? That straightforwardness might be appealing, especially in a world that often feels very complex.
I see your point. There's something about the egg that feels like a pure beginning, a clean slate.
Exactly. It speaks to our desire for order and simplicity. But of course, we can't forget about Cluckworth and those who sided with her. There's something very compelling about the chicken's warmth, her protective instincts. In fact, one respondent even wrote, Cluckworth's courage cannot be denied.
It's fascinating how this debate really seems to tap into something deeper, doesn't it? It's not just about biology. It's about how we see the world, what resonates with us on a personal level.
It really is. And the experts involved in the study suggest that the chicken-egg debate might be a window into much bigger questions about the nature of reality itself, about the limits of our understanding.
This is getting pretty deep. We've covered a lot of ground already. Talking chickens, philosophical eggs, quantum experiments, time-traveling theories. What's next on this wild ride?
Well, the implications of this research are vast. So, in part 2, we're going to take a closer look at the poultry singularity and what it could mean for our understanding of the universe.
Sounds like a plan. We'll be back after a short break. Stay tuned. All right, we're back and ready to dive deeper into this poultry singularity.
I gotta say, time-traveling eggs. It's not every day you hear a concept like that.
It's definitely one of the more unique theories I've come across. But that's what makes this research so fascinating. It's pushing the boundaries of what we thought we knew about the universe.
So let's break it down. This poultry singularity is suggesting that the chicken and the egg could have emerged simultaneously, existing in this perpetual loop. How is that even possible?
Think of it like this. Imagine a video game character that keeps respawning at the same point, creating a never-ending cycle. The poultry singularity proposes a similar concept where the chicken lies an egg, and that egg, through some mechanism we haven't quite figured out yet, travels back in time to become the chicken that laid it. It's like this cosmic chicken and egg dance, constantly influencing each other's existence.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. But how does this challenge our understanding of cause and effect? Don't we usually see a clear cause leading to a specific effect? We tend to think about things in a linear way. Right, this happened, which caused that to happen. But the poultry singularity suggests that maybe, at a more fundamental level, things aren't so clear-cut. Maybe cause and effect can get all tangled up, especially when you're dealing with things like quantum physics and the very fabric of time.
So are we saying there's no beginning, no true origin for either the chicken or the egg? That they've always existed in this loop? It's like a paradox.
It is a paradox, and it's a possibility that's being seriously considered. The researchers are suggesting that the chicken and the egg might not have a clear starting point in the way we traditionally understand it. They could be intertwined in a way that transcends our linear perception of time.
It's mind-blowing, really. It makes you wonder if there are other examples of this loop concept in nature.
That's a great question, and it's something the researchers are exploring. Think about the relationship between a seed and a plant, or a caterpillar and a butterfly. There's a cyclical process of transformation where one gives rise to the other, and then the cycle repeats. Could there be a singularity at play there, too?
It's fascinating to think about. Okay, but let's circle back to the quantum physics aspect of this research. Can you explain a bit more about this quantum temporal reversion testing that they used? What exactly were they doing in the lab?
Well, essentially, they were using a particle accelerator to recreate the conditions of the very early universe. Their goal was to create an environment where the building blocks of a chicken or an egg could spontaneously emerge from pure energy, sort of like a mini Big Bang, but for poultry.
So they were literally trying to witness the moment of creation for either the chicken or the egg.
Exactly. To see which one manifested first and hopefully settled the debate once and for all.
And that's where the quantum omelet came in. It sounds more like a culinary experiment gone wrong than a scientific breakthrough.
Well, you know, sometimes in science, things don't go exactly as planned. The quantum omelet was definitely a setback, but it also provided valuable insights. It showed them the complexity of what they were dealing with.
So even a scrambled mess can teach us something.
Absolutely. Even the failures in science can lead to new discoveries. In this case, the quantum omelet highlighted the need to refine their methods and ultimately led to the successful observation of the egg appearing before the chicken, which in turn brought them to the poultry singularity theory.
It's amazing how even the unexpected can lead to breakthroughs. But let's shift gears a bit and talk about that public survey. You mentioned the egg won with 62% of the vote. Why do you think so many people sided with the egg?
I think there are a few reasons. The eggs argument is very logical and straightforward. No chicken without an egg, right? It appeals to our desire for simplicity and order, especially in a world that can feel very chaotic.
I think you're right. There's something comforting about the egg's simplicity. It represents a starting point, a clean slate.
Precisely. And it taps into our fascination with origins. The egg, as a symbol, is often associated with new life and creation. That symbolic meaning probably plays a role in its appeal.
But we can't forget about the 38% who voted for Cluckworth. What do you think resonated with them?
Cluckworth represents something very different from the egg. She represents the warmth, the nurturing instinct of a mother. And that resonates with people on a very emotional level.
It's like this debate speaks to different aspects of our nature, our preference for logic versus our connection to emotions.
Exactly. And the experts behind this study suggest that the chicken-egg debate might actually be a way for us to explore bigger questions about who we are and how we see the world.
It's fascinating how a simple question like, which came first, can lead to such profound insights.
It really is. It reminds us that even the most basic questions can spark a journey of discovery, and that the universe is full of mysteries waiting to be unraveled.
Well, here we are, wrapping up our deep dive into the chicken or egg question. It's been a wild ride, hasn't it?
It really has. From talking chickens to quantum omelets, we've covered a lot of ground. And yet, even after all this, I think we're left with more questions than answers.
That's the beauty of it, though, isn't it? It's those unanswered questions that keep us curious, that drive us to explore and discover new things.
Absolutely. And in the case of the chicken or egg debate, I think the biggest takeaway is the realization that this age-old question is more than just a fun riddle.
Right, it's like we've stumbled upon something much bigger, something that touches on the very nature of reality itself.
Exactly. It forces us to confront the limits of our understanding, to question our assumptions about time, causality, even the origin of life itself.
So you're saying that the humble chicken and the egg, these everyday symbols of breakfast, might hold the key to unlocking some of the universe's biggest secrets.
It's a possibility. Think about it. The poultry singularity theory suggests that this cyclical relationship, this loop between chicken and egg, could be a fundamental principle woven into the fabric of existence. What if this same principle applies to other phenomena in the universe?
That's a mind-blowing thought. Are you saying there could be other singularities out there, other examples of this loop concept at play?
It's definitely worth exploring. Think about the relationship between a seed and a plant, or a caterpillar and a butterfly. There's this cyclical process of transformation where one gives rise to the other, and then the cycle repeats.
Wow, you're right. Those are all examples of these cyclical relationships. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Are those relationships simply part of nature? Or could they be something more, something as profound as the poultry singularity?
It's a question that scientists and philosophers will likely be pondering for years to come, and who knows, maybe one day we'll have a clearer understanding of these cosmic loops and their implications for our understanding of the universe.
It's exciting to think about. But for our listeners out there, what's the takeaway from all of this? What can they take with them after this deep dive?
I hope they come away with a renewed sense of wonder and curiosity. This whole debate reminds us that even the simplest questions can lead to profound insights.
It's a good reminder that we should never stop questioning, never stop exploring. Even those everyday occurrences that we take for granted might hold hidden depths and unexpected connections to the bigger picture.
Absolutely. It's all about fostering that sense of awe, that appreciation for the interconnectedness of everything. Who would have thought that a chicken and an egg could lead us down such a fascinating path of discovery?
I know, right? It's mind-boggling. And speaking of mind-boggling, we've reached the end of our deep dive. But before we go, we want to hear from you.
Yes, we've explored the science, we've delved into the philosophy, but now it's your turn to weigh in.
Are you team chicken or team egg? Or maybe you've got a whole different perspective on this age-old debate.
Share your thoughts, your burning questions, even your wild theories. We'd love to hear what's been swirling around in your mind after this deep dive.
Who knows, maybe you'll be the one to crack this cosmic mystery once and for all.
Until then, keep those minds curious.
And we'll catch you on the next deep dive.